Hey everyone, I just wanted to stop by real quick for this podcast starts and say you should like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on all my social medias at John D. Clouser. Literally the same name as the name that you subscribe to on this YouTube channel. So enjoy this clip, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Dude, I had to swallow the entire time when I was saying that whole line. This is where we are. This is how the podcast is. This is what we're doing. This is just what we're doing, guys. This is what's up. How are you? I'm in a silly mood. All right, watch this video. See you guys.
Yeah, boy!
Welcome to the John Show with your host, John Doogie Clouser.
All right. Every week I do that. Every time. Like, I'm always like, I'm going to get this clapping whole situation right. It's like, it's one camera. You think I would be able to do it versus, like, I do multiple camera shoots all the time. And I'm able to easily do, I'm able to do clap super easy. Anyway, guys, hey, how are you? So this is a new episode. This is episode 85. God dang it, guys. We just keep on going up higher and higher on these episode numbers. Episode 85 of the Juan Solo Show. What's going on? How are you? I'm your host, John D. Clouser. Welcome. If you're a new visitor, someone just stopping by because you clicked on a link, or you're just like, well, who's John? Like, maybe I met John and I'm gonna check out his stuff. Well, hello. This is it. It's not much, but it's honest living. That's what I gotta say. That's all I have to say. It's just it's simple work, simple thoughts, honest people. This is what the simple thing. They're just all the earth people. They're simple going. Yeah. They would give the shirt off their back. It's like, would someone really give the shirt off their back? Like that? Isn't that such an interesting term to describe someone's like willingness to help? Is like, they would get the shirt off your back. I know it's supposed to be like dramatic. I get it. But that one just seems kind of weird. It's like, oh yeah, well here's my shirt. Now I don't have a shirt, but I know you're okay. It's like I don't even think someone would want that. Like, if someone was like, oh my god, like here's the shirt, here's my shirt. Would you really want them to? Would you really want to have their shirt? But then like now you gotta like, all right, well, thanks for your shirt. Bye, buddy. And like, that's it. Like, that's like, how would the situation continue? Like, wouldn't it then just be like that person now is going to continue helping you, but now they're shirtless? And then like when the ambulance get there and the cops get there, everyone's like, why is this guy shirtless that's helping you? It's like, he gave me the shirt off his back because he's, he was so nice and so kind. And he's so generous. He's just one of those people. See, it'd just be weird. Wouldn't that just be weird? I feel like I'm in just a silly enough mood to think of something like that and actually go deep down and like dive into it. I'm in such a happy mood. One, because I'm doing this podcast, of course. Like, how would I not be in such a happy mood by doing the one thing I enjoy more than anything in the entire world? This is good practice, but it is what it is. But what I'm so happy about is that the Rams won last night. So I'm doing this, I'm filming this on October 8th, Friday at like 11:38 in the evening time, in the PM Central Standard Time, Kansas City, Missouri. And yeah, like last night was Thursday Night Football. And the Rams played against the Seahawks. Both quarterbacks blew out a finger. That was hilarious. That was not hilarious, but it was very interesting for it to happen. I was like, oh, this is weird. It's kind of weird. And then you add that with like the stuff that's going on with Urban Meyer and him finger blasting that 18-year-old girl, which is such a weird thing that's happening. If you're not familiar with it, Urban Meyer, he is the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they had a last Thursday, they had a game in Cincinnati, and since he went to Ohio State, he stayed in Ohio, and then ended up going to a bar that he owns, because he owns, I guess, a couple bars and a couple like smoke houses or steak houses or something like that. And he got absolutely hammered, and he was like getting grinded on by some very, let's say she's probably college, barely, she's probably like 20, 22, 20, 21, 22. I'm assuming, and I'm hoping, because the fact that like she was at a place that was serving alcohol. So I would hope that she would probably be at least 21. But hey, her fake ID was probably really nice. Maybe her older sister. Yeah, but there's a video of him, and he's just like putting two fingers up, like he's like trying to finger blast her through her jeans. It's a really good time. It was a very good video. It was like 58 seconds. Nothing crazy, but just enough to get the point across of like what's going on. And everyone this whole week have been like, can you believe that a coach didn't fly home with his team? And I'm like, I can believe it. I can believe it. You're paying these people to do this imaginary thing, a significant amount of money. Like I would understand, but just to save face, I'm not gonna lie, I would at least fly back with the team, and then once that happened, and then I would fly back. It sucks and it's annoying, but it's just one of those things you'd have to do, because it's just think about how rich you have. Like, that's really rich people problems. The thing about, like, oh man, I gotta, I have this gig in Ohio, in Cincinnati. I gotta do that for 3 hours. Well, I'm gonna have to fly back to Kansas City, Missouri. Well, anyway, like, all right, like, I need to fly back with the people I flew with, but I could also just like not fly back with them, and I could get on another plane from right there and go over to like a city next to, like, the next city over. It's gonna be like a 25-minute flight. Big deal is like, it's just like, that's such a, it's such an interesting thing if that was like a way of living. But I just feel like if you can get a charter flight, that first one's you're not paying for, you're only paying for one, and then at that point you can just, I'm pretty sure you're the head coach of a football team, so you could probably get that flight back for free as well, or you'd figure out a way. You could write it off for something. But yeah, it's just interesting. It's weird. It was just a weird thing that occurred. That occurred. Then the two quarterbacks, Stafford and Wilson, they both blew out a finger. Both of them both of them got hit in different places, and it was really bad. Wilson's looked really bad. I'm pretty sure, like, I didn't do any updates or look anything up today. I just saw it last night in the game and how dislocated it looked, and I'm like, yeah, dude, it's fucked up. It's gonna be like, he's gonna be out for a bit, especially if it's on his throwing hand. It's a different thing if it's on his non-throwing hand. So, but that's it. That is what it is. That's the thing. Yeah, so what's up with you guys? How are you doing? Are you guys doing well? Doing swell? Enjoying this world, this time that we're living in? Yeah, with me, what's new with me? I guess, like, this is a conversation. This is an A-B conversation, you and I, right? What's new with me? Nothing really. I went up to Apple Fest. There's a little town called Weston, Missouri. That's where I graduated from high school. That's where I graduated from. And they have this thing called Apple Fest. And I went up there, and I ended up spending like almost like 30, like, I think I spent like $32 on this t-shirt that's like pretty much just a canvas tee, and just like easily like pressed on words, simple lettering. This is Weston. I thought it'd be a hilarious shirt to get. I thought it'd be interesting because I like simple ass shirts. I like simple things. especially with wardrobe, because this is just a costume. This how I look at clothes. Clothes are just a costume of like how I want people to perceive who I am, and I'm just like, I can just wear pants and a tee, and I'm completely fine. Pants, tee, and I'll wear like nice, I wear a nice pair of Nikes. No big deal. Like different kind of Nikes. Oh God, that hurt. And we'll go from there. But yeah, it was just a good time. It was a fun time. I took a pit bull up there. It was I babysitted one of my good friends' pit bull, singular. And we went up there and it was a great time. Everyone was like, "Oh, your dog is so pretty. He's such a gorgeous dog." And he was just, super relaxed. Just he has this big ass fucking head and this thick ass fucking neck, and his ears are super short. They got trimmed super short, so you can. It's definitely like, yeah, you were definitely bred to fight. That's all your job was gonna be, was just to fight. It looks like he deadlifts like 500 pounds. He's a good dog. He's a pretty good dog. He's a really good dog. I say it like he wasn't a good dog. No, it wasn't. It's like there's no pretty good dog. He was a great dog. Super. The only thing is like he was super needy, and then it'll whine if he just wants to be pet. So that's like the only bad thing. But that's just super easy. Just like as long as you act alpha with it, it will just chill out. Like, oh, fine, fuck off then. And it just like kind of just goes off and does its own thing. It was a good time. Is this interesting? I was like, why are you talking about a dog? Oh yeah, it's because you have 30 minutes that you have to kill in this episode. But yeah, Apple Fest is a good time. Everything's like Apple related. There's the Apple dumplings. That's a big popular event. Popular event. I don't know. I went on Sunday, so I feel like it was a little bit less like the big crowd was gone at that point. And so, I was just kind of like, hey, this is, I went up there with a friend of mine. They've never been to anything like that. So I was like, oh, you want to see something interesting? Let me show you something. Hold my beer. And I'll definitely show you this really interesting thing. But yeah, it's bad is that like I can like these little like 12-ounce ones, because I'm so used to drinking the 24 ounces that like drinking like one of these, I'm like, oh, that's so easy to drink. And like I normally just drink like 4 of those. But like when I drink 4 of them, I'm like, John, you need to calm down. That's a lot of beer. That's a lot of beer right there. That's that's 36 ounces, 12, 24, 36. Wait, no, 12, 24. Yeah, 36. 42 ounces of alcohol. And it's like, oh no, John, don't do that. That's not a. Oh, 48. What did I say? 46. I didn't carry the 2. I apologize. But yeah, like it's like, John, you need to calm down. Calm down there. Don't do anything crazy. You're being real crazy right there. That's 4 beers. That's 4 beers. If someone were to walk by and they saw 4 cans in front of you, what would they think? They would think, oh my God, this guy he's almost through a 6-pack of beer. Who goes through a 6-pack of beer in one sitting? Actually, probably a lot of people. Probably a lot of people do that to get like, a buzz, a nice little buzz. I'm just like, hey. You need to chill out, doggy. Little doggy. You need to relax. So it's always it's a fun time. It's a fun time. Doing this podcast, this solo podcast is a fun time. This is a fun time. Did you hear about, like, going back to football? Did you hear about what the John Gruden said? So apparently this email arose today, actually, as Friday on October 8th. And back in 2011, John Gruden, he is now the coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, or the Oakland Raiders, once Los Angeles Raiders. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders. And he, in an email, apparently said about, because like, there's the because it was during the lockout year, and during that year during that time, there was like the coaches, and the coaches have kind of like a board member person that they have that kind of represents them, and then like the players have the like a someone who represents them. And one of the guys, he called this black guy, he says the lips the size of Michelin tires, which is a weird racial slur. Or not even a slur, it's just a weird racial like description. That's what you got, like Michelin tires. And I'm like, I kind of get it. I kind of understand that one. I'm like, yeah, like tires are wide and like lips, I guess, are wide. But I'm like, I mean, I would say like if you're gonna do something like that, you do runways. But like, I think that's like I think that's a positive example. But I'm also brown, so like, I feel like I can say something like that. I can be like, yeah, like she has like really beautiful lips, or like wide as like, runways. And like, you're like, yeah, a runway's wide because of airplane. And it's like, yeah, like that's interesting. And it's not racial. It's like, okay, like you're describing how someone's pretty, but like then like, oh, like the level of them is like not an extreme, but it's like a certain size. Or it's like, okay, you can imagine that. But like, I guess what I can see what he's like, I can, yeah, but like, but of course, when you're white and you say something like that, you can't, it automatically jumps to racism, automatically jumps to that. And then the other thing he said he had rubber lips. Now that one, even me saying it right now, and I'm a brown person, I'm not even born in America, so this isn't even my fight. But saying that, I'm like, man, John, they're gonna be able to. That's a clipped out. They can clip it out. They can clip that out. Like you can't say that. Like even someone like my skin tone, I'm like, that's something that you just don't say. I'm like, because no one who looks like me or no one like John Grier's the same tone as I am. Like it's like no one like this like can say something like rubber lips. And as describing an African American or a black person, and expect that to be okay. That's not. You can't do that. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen with that one. And it's just like, oh, it is an email, and it's just interesting to see who's the person or what happened, or like what happened with the bridge that got burnt. For the reason why that got leaked, because things like that don't get leaked unless there's a reasoning behind them. Like it's like even in the NFL, like any of those stories like you hear about like a player or like some situation, like those don't get leaked unless they want to be leaked or they need to be leaked. So it is what it is. It's just very interesting. It's just rough because. You're not shocked. I'm not shocked by it, but it's like, God damn it. Like, why does this always continuously have to happen? Like, why is this a thing? Like, you hang like out of all these groups of people who have, some sort of hatred or some sort of misunderstanding of like a different culture. Like, you're around that culture all the time. Like, what can you say? More than like 85% of the NFL are African, black. They have some African descent of dark skin colored people. Yes, I think we can all agree with this, right? And what wouldn't you think? And you recruited, you worked in the college all the way, you worked up to the NFL, and you've seen where like some of these people have come from, and then like to see how like they've used their athletic abilities to bring up and just have generational wealth, or have wealth that like their kids can be okay, like that, like, and then you can still dislike these people and describe them like calling them like rubber lips, or like the size of the lips, or like the Michelin tires. It's just absolutely insane to be able to still have that sense of thought. Because because just being around a group of people, like their energy and like their abilities and like understanding of like who these people are rubs off. I can't believe the first thing I said was energy. But anyway, you find of understanding of these people, doesn't matter who it is, because we're all people. Like, you can sit two people who are racist, a white racist person, a black racist person, or an Asian racist person, or whatever, in the same room, and you can have them talk, and by the end of the conversation, they're gonna be friends because we're all human. Like, so, like, when you interact with them, you're gonna see how, unless you're so blinded, and that's the crazy thing. How can you sit, or how can you, like, be around a bunch of people and, like, still be closed-minded? Like, I'm like, I can understand, like, not wanting to talk, but you're still gonna, like, listen. You still hear. Like, what is the saying? Like, you have one mouth, that God gave you one mouth but two ears to listen, but to listen twice as much, or something like that. So, like, you're gonna hear like, stories and understand, like, where people have come from. So that's what's so crazy, because I can meet people. I've met some interesting people who grew up, who have master's degrees now, who in high school didn't have their own room. Like, their bedroom was the kitchen, well, not the kitchen, but was like the living room couch. That was their bed. That's what they had. And now they have a master's degree and they're an engineer. Like, just so. It's just the fact that you can, like, be around people, like, in that kind of caliber and still look at them like, they're not a human, they're not equal. And the fact that what he said something about, like, how, like, the only reason why things are said like that is because they're nervous that I'm sitting at the same tables that they are. And it's like, damn, it's like, you're right. Like, that's basically the only reason why they're even saying anything like that, because they're threatened by your abilities of what you're doing, of who you are. And it's sad. Real sad. Because, I don't know, one of the greatest things and one of the most exciting things I was always looking forward to, and, like, why I always thrived or, like, strived to do good, was so I can, like, go out in the world and I can meet more people. And I always wanted to I did a lot of these random activity things because I wanted to meet, like, I did, like, a thing called Boy State. I got lucky enough and I got into Boy State. It's the thing you have to apply for, all that stuff. Like, it's like they take, like, the top, I don't know, 300 kids or 300, like, people with a GPA and all that bullshit. Anyway, look it up if you want to know. It's quite prestigious, actually, and a lot of people who end up, like, working Congress and, like, in the judicial system go to these things. But I ended up doing it because, like, one, scholarship, you got a scholarship from it. But two, I also got to meet a bunch of different people from all of just the state that you live in. So, like, why would you not want to do that? And we live in an ecosystem now, and a mindset that if someone doesn't agree with what you feel, then we shouldn't be around that. We shouldn't ask more questions. We should just run away from them, or we should shun them, or, like, shame them because they don't have the same thought process that we have, or that you have. And that's not how you learn, I feel. You have to try and meet other people, and if you do that, or, like, try to understand, like, where they're coming from, and the more times you talk and you interact with different kind of people. Even, like, today I had a weird interaction with somebody where, like, I can see how, like, they thought that I was kind of, like, bossing them around, and that's fine. And I understand. I get that. And I wasn't trying to do that. I'm like trying to show them, like, like, if you do it how I'm, like, trying to tell you to do it, it's going to be so much less work for you in the long run. Because it's really, honestly, doing it like this correctly is helping you out in the long run. It's making your job easier. And instead of explaining like that, I was like, hey, can you do this, then did that. And I was like, please and thank you. But a lot of people still don't take that. They take that as, like, you being here, and then, like, they're here. And that's not what I was trying to do. I'm like, anything over here, and this is part of your job, that if you do it like this, like ABC, later on you're going to get, XYZ is going to be able to come in, and that's you, and you're going to be able to do your part. And it's like learning how to communicate that with people. It's like you're able to do it. And it's like, it's so funny because I remember, like, going to therapy, and when you're in therapy, a lot of things like you learn tools. You learn a lot of different tools. And one of the tools was like, hey, my big thing was like, I get frustrated when I have to deal with ignorant. Like, it's not even ignorance because like I'm ignorant too. Like, that's the funny thing is like, I'm no different. I'm just ignorant, not on this thing. I'm ignorant on other things. And I'm honest with that. But it's like being upset. What upsets is like the fact that like I'm like, well, if I'm able to understand it and I feel like I'm at this certain level, I feel like everyone's at us. I always have this superior complex in the sense of like I feel like everyone's way more intelligent than I am, way more just gifted in every sense, and that's not true. It just simply isn't the truth. But when and those are my complexes that I still deal with, and you don't like those are never gonna go away. Those are just simple things that you have to like learn. And then you have to realize when you're feeling like that and then be able to talk your way out of it. And going to therapy, you learn those tricks and those trades. But going to therapy, what I realized was that like it was expectation. I get mad at expectation because I expect to learn a base level. I expect there's a certain level of, courtesy with other people. I expect that there is a certain level of respect or communication, being able to communicate. There's certain things like that. And the thing is like, I feel like that because like that's how I was raised, but a lot of people weren't raised the same way, which is hilarious. Especially the older I get, the more I realize that like I was raised pretty strict, very military like. So with having that structure, like very good for me, and it helped me become the man who I am now, and I am able to have really good habits and do things and get things done. But to other people, like it seems very insane. And so because I am super like boom, 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 then a lot of people, because like I run at that level, I expect everyone to run at that same level, and if they don't, I get frustrated, which all it does is just cause more frustration. Like, why are you adding to the frustration when there's already friction? Like, there's already friction because if someone doesn't understand something, that's the friction right there. So by you coming in and being more angry or being equally or adding another layer to it by having your anger being such a level higher, what you're causing is that you're just adding to the situation, and like you're just bleeding in more. And why? That's so much more. That's energy, when the energy could be just like the energy could be used to smooth out the friction. Use your energy to lubricate the situation versus like add to the situation. And so like, and that's what you learn. You learn things like that. That's what, I don't know. That's like the biggest thing that I advocate. And that's what you do. That's why I did. That's why I always do. And it's like really weird how I don't know. I hope that's beneficial. Well, I have like a minute 40 left. Holy shit, I got a minute 40 left on this podcast. And I'll be done. I'll be done with the solo one. All right, guys. Well, if you've gotten this far, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe, I guess. Give a thumbs up is really what the cool thing to do. That's what the cool kids do. My voice is fine. Football. Rams won against the Seahawks, so I can just chill out and watch football on Sunday. I'll be a little stretched. I'll be a little stressed watching the Chiefs play, but it'll be chill because my team already won, and, we'll go from there. It'll be a good time. Anyway, be safe, guys. Wash your hands. Look both ways before you cross the street. Tie your shoes. Be nice. Don't write emails and write racial slurs in them. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys on the next episode. I got like 40 seconds left. So, hi. How are you? I hope you guys are peeing in the shower. If you guys are already in the shower, just don't get out of the shower. Why are you gonna tsunami your whole bathroom? Don't do that. Just simply pee in the shower. It's not gross. I don't understand people who think it's gross. You're gross for not thinking. You're gross for thinking it is gross. How do you like that? All right. Well, we're gonna cut off here in 3, 2, 1, off.